Fox 11, 10 o'clock news.
I was doing a workshop about rights at a local mosque, and a young man came up to me and asked if it was safe for him to just, you know, be a vocal person. He wanted to become an artist, but his family was telling him not to be a vocal person because he's Afghani and he's Muslim, and they were afraid of that.
The day of 9/11, I went home and I saw my parents watching TV, and I realized, you know, things are going to be much different now than they were before.
I'm part of the track team at my school, and everyone refers to me as the terrorist, you know, because I'm the only Muslim on the team. I'm the only one that's not white.
I did feel a lot more animosity.
All of a sudden, I was under a big spotlight. I wasn't really sure what to do. Kids started calling me names, and I lost some confidence in myself.
Our youth and our young professionals constitute our most valuable and probably least utilized asset for the Muslim community.
A lot of youth have had identity issues, struggling with being a Muslim in this anti-Muslim climate of fear. What CARE has done for a lot of these youth is provided a space where they can express their Muslim identity.
Talent and the devotion of our volunteers and interns really helps us get our projects out there, get the news out there.
Interns actually get to meet with government officials and congresspeople, work on legislation, work on policy work.
They take the skills that they learn here back to their community, in their masjid or their MSAs or their youth groups.
CARE really gives you those tools, like, you know, who to talk to, how to come off intelligent, not irrational.
Interns get to work on press releases, get to interface with different media outlets and organizations, meet some of the Hollywood executives, writers, producers, and studios.
Going through law school, you're just in the motions of it, and you forget why you're doing what you're doing. And then I spent the summer doing a law clerkship with CARE, and that reminded me that the Muslim community needs a voice and needs somebody to fight for their rights.
Me and my family went to the Manzar pilgrimage that was sponsored by CARE. I learned that us Muslims got to push for our civil liberties and our civil rights because we don't want people to walk all over us like the Japanese got walked all over, and they ended up being pushed into internment camps.
Bridging Communities was a program that brought Muslim American teenagers and Japanese American teenagers together to learn about one another, to learn about each other's cultures.
The Muslim American community saw that there were a lot of historical parallels between some of the issues that they were facing after 9/11 and the issues that the Japanese American community faced after Pearl Harbor was bombed.
I thought back to a time where someone had stated a stereotype about Muslims, saying that they were terrorists. All of them. My first reaction was, that's wrong, that's not true.
Our communities and our individuals have identity. The identity is not sometimes what that American population thinks it is. The outside community needs to allow our communities to be empowered. It needs to allow our communities to assert themselves.
After this was all over, I had a greater appreciation for their religion, what they believe in, their rituals.
What I learned the most was that Muslims should be reaching out outside their own community. The NYLP program took us to Sacramento and showed us how to be active politically in your own state.
They're learning public policy. They're learning what issues affect the state of California. They're meeting lobbyists. They're meeting senior Capitol staff.
I felt like I was actually making decisions that would affect people.
With a representation of all different types of races and different ethnic groups, we move closer to a more perfect union.
Hopefully one day they'll be here. When you have Muslim senators, Muslim assemblymen, Muslim congressmen, our issues will be addressed, and then the issues of others will be addressed, because our community is a community that stands for justice, not just for our community, but for all.
It's such a crucial time to be an activist. I mean, it's a time of change, and if we're not giving our voice to those changes, then those changes aren't necessarily going to be beneficial to us or beneficial to other minority communities.
Activism, to me, is not just going out and protesting or going out and passing out flyers somewhere. I think activism is really based on what your ideology or what you believe personally to empower yourself for the larger benefit of the community.
In the Quran it says, you're not a good Muslim if your neighbor goes hungry.
We make sure that as we teach our youth, we're teaching them values that Islam promotes, such as excellence, moderation, justice, equality, compassion, caring for others.
I tell people CARE is like
Like in a school situation, a little kid's being picked on by a bully. CARE is the kid that stands up to the bully and helps the little kid out. Like a superhero, big brother kind of figure to the Muslim community.
You know, and like Hussam said this once, he said, an organized minority is much more powerful than a disorganized majority.
The American Muslim community, myself, we believe in freedom and justice and all the American values just as much as anybody else.
Today the Muslims are getting their civil rights taken away from them, and tomorrow it could be a different minority that's getting their civil rights taken away from them. So us as Muslims have to be strong and push for everyone's civil rights, not only Muslim people.
If one looks at the youth today, you're looking at a preview of how our future as American Muslims and as a country is going to look. So if we don't like how the future is, it is the right time to change it by empowering the youth and making leaders out of them.